Today, I'm sharing a story I have never shared before. The story of how I took an affiliate program from $15 million a year to a staggering $325 million annually in just 4 years. Yes, that is more than 20x growth in only about 48 months. I'm going to share everything, all of the basic principles, all of the secrets I have never revealed publicly that worked, and maybe even a few things that didn't. Some of the methods I share might surprise you, so listen up. Welcome to the Affiliate Guy podcast. If you want to grow your income, serve your tribe, and enjoy all the benefits of affiliate marketing and having your own affiliates, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me today. Let's get started. So that I know of, I've never shared this story before. I've probably, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, I know I shared at least one little part of it earlier this year. And it was kind of the first time I shared that. And obviously I've shared some of the principles here and there and throughout different episodes, but I've never shared this story in its entirety. And it's the story of how I took one affiliate program from right at 15 million a year when we took over to 4 years later, we were doing 325 million that year. Now, I am not going to say who this company was, in part because I'm going to mention some specific people without mentioning their names, and I don't want to call them out. But this company, it's a publicly traded retailer. Now, we've worked with dozens of companies like that, so you can't figure out who it is. Huge, right? And I am not going to share the exact numbers because you could Google these exact numbers and possibly figure out who it is. But their revenue last year was over $2.25 billion. Okay? Over 2.25, not much over, but right around there. At the time I took over the affiliate program in 2010, their annual revenue was about $300 million. Their affiliate program accounted for less than 5% of that. When I stopped working with them in 2015, they did $1.1 billion in sales, with the affiliate program accounting for 32% of all sales. In other words, we did more in affiliate sales in 2015 than the entire company did in 2010. That's the kind of growth we had. So the question, of course, is how did we do it? And as I looked back and thought about it, I found 5 things that we did specifically that contributed the most growth. Could I do a 50-point podcast about every little thing we did that contributed an additional 100,000 in sales? Absolutely. I'm not going to do that though. I'm going to share 5 big things. I think these were the 5 core principles that were all worth, I'm going to say, more than $20 million individually. And of course, the cool thing about them is they stack on each other. And I'm going to share them in no specific order because they are all important. If I do a countdown from 5 to 1, you'll focus on number 1, maybe number 2, and that's it. The reality is that doing any one of these things, or even 2 or 3, will only get you half the results of doing all 5. And so I actually am going to do them in some sort of an order, and that is the order in which we implemented them. So I'm going to do this in chronological order. So I guess there is a particular order. But the reason why it's chronological, it's not, just to be clear, is not most important, least important of the 5. They are all equally important. And like I said, they compound. If all we did was the first thing, we might have grown to 50 million. But we did 1 and 2, which got us to 80. We did 1, 2, and 3, which got us to 140. We did 1, 2, 3, and 4, which got us to 230. And we did 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which got us to 325. The combination of these 5 things plus the magic factor of time, it did take us 4 years. Now, to be clear, it's still pretty awesome that we more than 21x'd in 4 years. When we do all 5 of these things plus time, I can promise you, you will grow. All right. So let's jump into what we did to really grow that particular affiliate program. The first thing we did was we focused on one affiliate type at a time. There are literally dozens of different types of affiliates you could work with. There are coupon sites, there are co-read sites, there are mommy bloggers, and other content creators, YouTubers, Instagrammers, people who are big on Facebook, people who are big on TikTok, deal blogs, all these different types of affiliates. Well, when I first took over, one of the very first things we did was we sat down with the CEO, and I'm going to call the CEO Greg. Nice generic name there, right? Actually, come to think of it, I have worked with a CEO named Greg. It's not him, just so you know, their numbers aren't nearly that big. So if you happen to know who I've worked with and know that I once worked with a CEO, Greg, it's not him. Okay. And he was like, okay, you got to go after a bunch of different types of affiliates. Here's how we're going to grow. We have a vision for how we're going to grow, and here's what we want you to do. We want you to go after mommy bloggers and deal blogs and nonprofits and photographers. And we want you to go after all these 10 different types of affiliates. I was like, Greg, no, that will not work. We have to focus on one type of affiliate at first. The old saying that I shared with him was, we don't want to go a mile wide and an inch deep. We want to go an inch wide and a mile deep. I said, we need to really lean in to focusing on one type of affiliate. And I went on to explain not only my theory, but my experience that here's what was going to happen. This is what I explained to him and what ended up happening. What I predicted would happen did. I said, here's the thing. We need to focus on one, right? One type of affiliate. And we go out and we work our butts off to get one type of affiliate. And we go take days to get the first one. And then we take less to get the second and the third. And then one of them starts having some success. And we can use that as an example for the next one, which makes it easier to get the next one. And now we're adding one a day, and then 1.5 a day, and then 10 a week. And then we're adding 20 a week. And the next thing you know, we're going to grow from there. I said, that's how this is going to work. I said, they talk to each other, they mastermind with each other, and we need to focus on one type. And so I picked mommy bloggers. Now, I know they hate that term. I'm just saying what the term was back then, back in early 2011, it was mommy bloggers. I said, so I'm going to focus on them because I knew some, and I knew that I could get 10 or 12 really fast to sign up. I might even be able to get like 20 or 25 pretty fast, like in the first week or two. And so that's why I picked that. And so what I had predicted would happen is exactly what happened. I worked hard. I reached out to them. I got about 15 to 20 pretty fast. And then I worked hard to get more, and I asked for introductions. I talk about that all the time. Your number one source of new affiliates should be your current affiliates. So I focused on the mommy blogger affiliates that we already had and the 15 or so that I brought on. And I asked them, and next thing you know, we've got like 75 to 100 mommy bloggers pretty quickly. But then I worked really hard to recruit one new one, and then another new one, and then another new one. And so what happens over time is when you have, let's say you have 5 mommy bloggers, 5 nonprofits, 5 deal blogs, 5 photographers, 5 coupon sites, 5 loyalty sites, you have 5 of each, then the promotions are so sporadic that none of the others really see them and notice them. But what happens when you get to 100 of one type is now all of a sudden, and you know this, mommy bloggers follow other mommy bloggers, deal blogs follow other deal blogs, nonprofits follow other nonprofits, right? And the way I was saying that just made me think of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And he's like, the strawberries taste like strawberry. The snozberries taste like snozberries. Sorry. Okay. That was my ADD moment for this episode. Back to what we're talking about. So they start seeing multiple promotions in a day. And then all of a sudden when you have a deal, maybe 5 or 10 affiliates are promoting it, that an individual mommy blogger is on their list or follow them on social media. And now they're seeing this program everywhere. And it got to the point as we grew and grew, and it literally, we went from getting 1 a day and working my butt off to get 1 a day for the first couple of months to 2 a day, 3 a day, 5 a day, 10 a day, literally 15 to 20 per day during peak season. And it got to the point where it was like, step 1, register your domain. Step 2, set up hosting, WordPress. Step 3, register for this affiliate program. Because if you followed anybody that was a mommy blogger, they were all promoting this company. And so I got the nickname from somebody. It was King of the Mommy Bloggers, right? An ironic nickname. And so we focused on one. Okay, from there, we're getting 15 to 20 mommy bloggers signing up every day without actively recruiting them. It's no longer worth actively recruiting new ones. We got all the big ones. We got like the top 250, and we're getting all these new ones signing up every day. We're well known. I don't need to actively recruit any of them. So we moved on to photographers, and I didn't know any. Actually, I knew one, a friend of mine from Franklin, Tennessee, and I did reach out to him, and I think he introduced me like 2 more, but that was it. And so we specifically focused on wedding and engagement photographers. And then we moved on to baby photographers, then graduation. And then we were, that was most photographers at that point. But we reached out to hundreds a day, but we'd get 1 or 2 to sign up. But then, like I said earlier, after we got like 20 or 30 and a few of them started having success, now we had case studies and our sign up page got better. And now we started getting multiple photographers in an area. And if you were a photographer in that area and you followed photographers in your area, all of a sudden, 2 of them promoted us in a week. Well, that's interesting. And then 3 promoted us. And now it's like, okay, now all of a sudden, after a few months of really hard work, we started getting a couple a week to sign up that we didn't even recruit. And then another month goes by and all of a sudden we're getting 1 a day. Same thing. 2 months later, we're getting 2 a day, 3 a day, 4 a day. They were flooding in. So at that point, when we kind of tapped that out where we were getting more people signing up than we could conceivably actively recruit, we knew it was only a matter of time before we'd have almost all of them. So then we moved on to the deal blogs, and we specifically focused on loyalty sites. And we did the same thing. Then we did coupon sites. Then we did nonprofits. But even with the nonprofits, we specifically started with PTAs and PTOs. And we specifically started with PTAs and PTOs in a certain geographical region. At that time, we started with them in the Northeast because we had connections there. And so that way, we were only working with PTAs and PTOs in the Northeast. And then we expanded to the rest of the country. And then again, it got to the point where we were getting 2 to 5 per day signing up, which was more than we could actively recruit. So we moved on to other types of nonprofits, children's hospitals, and then other types from there. And as they began to see what others were doing, they signed up. So this was so important to us. And one of the biggest reasons it worked was because we had that saturation. We reached that point of saturation where, like I said, it was step 1, register your domain. Step 2, sign up for hosting. Step 3, sign up for this program. And this is how we went from having only about 5,000 affiliates when we took over to having more than 125,000 when we left. We stopped working with them 4 years later. What's the math on that? It's 25x the number of affiliates. Yeah, we 25x the number of affiliates. Newsflash, we 21x'd the sales. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now, none of that is possible, or very little of that is possible. Actually, none of it. We probably could have taken it from 15 to 100 just on that. Maybe even 140 or 50. But there's still a lot to go to get to 325. So the second thing we did was we changed how we communicated with affiliates. Now, I don't mean how we communicated, my company communicated, how I personally communicated with affiliates. I'm talking about how we as the affiliate program communicated, because when we took over, it was basically a weekly mass email newsletter. That was it. 52 emails a year, every week at about the same time to everyone. No individualization, no segmenting, nothing more than the 52, because apparently there was some unwritten rule that said you can only send 1 email a week and it has to be in a newsletter format and it has to go to everybody and say the exact same thing. That doesn't work. We know that. So we started individualizing a lot of the emails. We started reaching out to affiliates with weekly milestones and goals and specific promos that were only for certain affiliates. And we knew that certain segments, i.e., once we got it up and running, the nonprofits didn't care about certain things. So we left them out, which allowed us to send more emails that were very specific to the affiliates. We started sending a lot more emails, like a lot more. But to an individual affiliate, they might only get 3 of them in a week. And so this was an example. One of the advantages that we have as a company is because we work on a lot of evergreen programs. And at that time, I'd worked on a lot of evergreen stuff, but I'd also worked on launches. I'd worked on book launches and I'd worked on product launches and I'd worked on, they weren't super popular back then, but I was starting to work on things like summits. So these event-based promos, right? So we were able to bring some of the excitement and the ferocity of a launch into Evergreen World. And we treated each promo like a launch. So there might be a site-wide sale this week, or there might be a 3-day sale, and then there might be this thing. And so each of these is now suddenly its own promo with its own launch-like thing that has 3, 4, 5 plus emails in a week, all about a specific thing, rather than one giant email that covers 5 things. So we started segmenting the affiliates. And yeah, as we grew and we had 50,000 affiliates, there might be an email that only went to 8,000. In that same day, there was one that went to 12,500, and there was one that went to another 30,000. There was one that went to, there might be a little bit of overlap, and that might mean, heaven forbid, right? You got 2 emails in a day about different things instead of 1 email a week with 5 things. We started doing more phone calls and more strategy sessions with individual affiliates and small groups of affiliates. Which, by the way, if you want to get a template for that, I'll put the link in the show notes. I think it's mattmcwilliams.com/AFFPLAN. We will edit that if that's not the link. So, and you'll hear a voiceover from we'll probably pick somebody with like a really, really good baritone. I'll have James Earl Jones come in and like all of a sudden you'll get the right URL. But either way, we'll put it in the show notes and you can get a template for those phone calls and the strategy sessions. We did all these things that individualized the communication and took that communication to a new level. When we announced a contest, one of the biggest things we did tons of contests. We'll talk more about contests later, but they used to run like one contest every quarter. And we were suddenly running one. It was like 3-day contest, 2-day contest, 1-day contest, weekly contest. But we required them to opt into the contest. Now, there's two things that did. So let's say we ran a weekly contest. Like we're going to run a big contest next week. Top affiliate earns $2,500, second place $1,000, third place $500, whatever it is, right? Or however we did the contest. We did all kinds of different contests. I am talking 50 different contests a year, maybe more. And some of them were like, every sale earns you an entry. So if you make 5 sales, you get 5 entries, you could win. Versus, if it's top affiliate, second affiliate, third affiliate. A lot of the contests were make a sale tomorrow and you're entered to win. If you make 50 sales, 1 sale, doesn't matter. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but we required them to opt into the contest. Now, this did 2 things. Number 1, it saved us a ton of money from people accidentally winning something. So somebody win a prize, like, oh, I didn't even know I was in a contest. Well, then they didn't do anything to win it. We want people who are actively going to participate. So we would require them to respond back or fill out a form and say, I'm in. And so we'd have 2,800 people sign up. Only those 2,800 people were entered to win the contest. That was number 1. The second thing it did was we could communicate with them differently because I knew these 2,800 people are going to promote this specific product Tuesday and Wednesday, and they're in this contest, right? So I'm going to go overboard with communication. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, so I'm going to communicate with them the Friday before and really lead into it over the weekend. I'm going to send an email Monday. I'm going to send another email Monday night. I'm going to send an email at the butt crack of dawn on Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon, possibly Tuesday evening, a couple on Wednesday. Like I'm going to go all because it's like a launch. And if you've ever seen that ferocity and that excitement that comes with being an affiliate for a launch, that's what we were replicating with these promos, even though it's an evergreen program. As far as communication, we set up a Facebook group. At that time, we were one of the first affiliate programs to ever do that. Like looking back, I'm like, how did I not start doing that 3 years earlier? But as far as affiliate programs with more than 100 people, I think we were the first. And I had seen somebody else do it on a small level. I had seen an affiliate program that a friend of mine ran in a very small niche. And I thought it was really cool. He had like 40 affiliates. And I saw the community and I saw the fact that it was another avenue to communicate. And I believe when we first did this, it was before Facebook really started pushing groups, but it was still an important thing. And so we set up these groups for affiliates. Facebook groups started, I think in 2010 sometime, and we took over this program in 2011. So they were new. And like I said, I think Facebook was really pushing them at this time. But even before that, you could set up a group in other ways, forums, things like that. And nobody was doing them. It was just kind of like everybody was in their own world, I guess. So we created that community. It gave us another way to communicate. We would show up not only in their email inbox, but we'd show up in their notifications on Facebook. People started helping each other and offering advice and sharing what was working. And I would say once we got it up and running, and it took a good 6 months to really get, and we had separate ones for 3 segments of the affiliates, right? But once we got the first group up and running, the first 3 or 4 months, I did all the posting. And we'd have like 2 comments, then 4 and then 6. And they were very rarely interacting with each other. Usually they were just responding to me and asking me a question. But then it got to where other people would start posting tips and sharing what was working and what was not working and asking questions and sharing struggles. And it became this amazing community and it became so much more fun. And that was huge. And then also it opened the door for us to share what was working for other affiliates. This was a big part of our communication. Now we got their permission, but before this program, everything just felt like it was so private and so closed. And we started interviewing affiliates and they were able to learn from each other. And so we would see an affiliate do one cool thing. And we do like a little 10, 15-minute interview about how they did this on social media or how they did this email campaign or how they did this thing where they did a lot in sales, and we interviewed big affiliates, small affiliates, mid-sized affiliates, all over the place, different types of affiliates, and they all learned from each other. Suddenly, the deal bloggers were learning from the mommy bloggers. The mommy bloggers were learning from the photographers, even, and vice versa. And all these people were learning from each other. And it was so cool. And if I saw an email or a blog post from an affiliate, I would ask them, hey, can I share this? I really like your call to action. Do you mind if I share that with the affiliate group or, and send an email? And 99.9% of the time, they would say yes. Every now and again, like, nope, that's a secret plan. Like, I don't want to share that. Okay, fine. In fact, I don't know that I ever had anybody with this particular company say no. I have had a couple people over the last decade and a half say no to that type of request, but it was really cool to see. And so everybody learned, everybody got better. So we totally changed the way we communicated. The third thing that we did was we trained the affiliates. This goes kind of just back to what I was saying. We shared what was working. But one of the biggest things that we implemented was a very consistent monthly training. This was the one thing we did that was like clockwork. Still remember it. Second Tuesday. The second Tuesday of every month, we did a training. In fact, at one point we did this with 3 clients, and it was always on the second Tuesday. So my second Tuesday of every month from like noon to 6 p.m. was nothing but affiliate trainings. But each month had a topic, and I trained the affiliates on that topic. And so one month we'd talk about warming up your audience for a promo. And then we would talk about how to promote webinars. So if they were using webinars, I would do a special training to teach them how to promote those webinars. On the warming up one, I would teach them, 7 ways to get your audience warmed up for a promo. Instead of, hey, I haven't talked about this company in a few months, boom, I'm going to warm you up for a couple days as we lead into this promo. I would talk about how to put together a bonus package. And we'd workshop different bonus packages and go through the bonus creation worksheet that I created for affiliates. And it was so cool because they would start sharing their bonuses. What do you think? And then an affiliate would be like, I would say, hey, that's really good. I like it, which is true. And maybe I'd offer a tip. And then another affiliate would be like, ooh, but what if you did this? And I'm like, wow, I never thought about that. Like with the group, it got to the point where I didn't have to do all the stuff. Early on, I had to do all the stuff and I was the only expert. But over time, we had hundreds of experts who were willing to share. It was so cool. We did a training on how to put together a promo plan. And so I would walk through like each day of a promo and co-create their promotion with them. And I'd give them access to a sheet if you want to get that. It's the URL I mentioned earlier. It's both for private and like group promo plans. If you go to mattmcwilliams.com/AFF plan, remember James Earl Jones, correct that URL. If it's not it, again, we'll put it in the show notes. But I would do like 20 or 30 of the private ones, but then I would do these bigger ones where I could have thousands of affiliates at a time. And it was so cool. And they would share what was working for them. And it no longer was just me, 45 minutes of Matt talking followed by 15 minutes of Q&A with Matt. It became almost to the point where it was a little bit unruly, but it was awesome because people would say, well, here's something I did and boom, 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 boom. And oh my gosh, it was so cool. I did a training on closing sales. So I would share how to close more sales and things like this. And for any type of promotion, especially, how to close sales toward the end of the promotion. I did a training on promoting deals, specifically about here's some things that we've learned about promoting deals and what works best and what converts best, how to use swipe copy. I did an entire thing about that. And these morphed into monthly strategy calls where affiliates could just come and ask questions. Like it got to the point where we do like a training and then the next month we do just a Q&A call. And we'd have more people come for the Q&A call because they get to come and ask questions. They could share wins. They could share ideas. They could ask, again, what do you think about this? And what other affiliates would chime in? What about this strategy? And so we built up this huge library where, frankly, I was saying nothing new after the first 18 months. But we still hosted these monthly calls just to stay on top of things and get exposed to their ideas and having them help each other. But it just became something that was a part of being an affiliate. And we would have about 2,500, upwards of 3,000 people on these things live. And this was when we only had 60,000 affiliates. We'd still get 2,500 or 3,000. I mean, 3,000 out of 60,000. I mean, that's 5% of the affiliates were showing up for these things. There were people that showed up probably 30 consecutive times or more for some of these things. It was amazing. So real quick, I'm just going to walk you through what one of these calls looks like, just so you can get an idea if you've never been a part of one of these. They usually last about an hour, 75 minutes, about half teaching, half Q&A, half strategy, again, just chit chat sometimes. Affiliates get to ask questions. They get to share their experience. They get to learn from each other. It's so awesome. And so here's a quick rundown. Basically, we do a big training leading into any major promotion or season. So with this particular company, the holiday season was huge. It was 40-50% of the sales for the whole year happened in about a 7-8 week span. So we would do a training in October and then another one in early November 10th-ish where we would talk about the holiday season. So, spend a few minutes welcoming them, right? Usually 3, 4, 5 minutes, learn where everybody's from, all that fun stuff. Introduce ourselves if needed. We always had new affiliates, so that was always good. And then we'd spend about 5 to 10 minutes vision casting. This is the part where we talk really about the mission behind whatever's coming up. And, it's a little bit more heart-centered than money-centered, especially if it's announcing a new product or something like that. And we talk about why it's important, share success stories, how we want affiliates to be part of something special. So again, it's more about the heart than the money. And then we go spend about 5 minutes or so talking about the promotion calendar. If it's any type of product launch or promotion, we'll spend some time going through the calendar, we want to make 100% sure that affiliates know the important dates and what to do on these dates. So, hey, here's when Black Friday is. I know you know, but here's when it is, right? And here's when the Black Friday promo ends. It ends Saturday midnight Pacific time. Here's when the Cyber Monday thing ends. Here's when the blah, blah, blah ends. Here's when free shipping, guaranteed free shipping in the United States ends. Here's when the final day is to order. And if you get the expedited shipping, it's guaranteed to get there before Christmas Eve. That's when this ends, right? So you need to know that. And we go through these and all these excuses to promote. And we would go through these. Here's this deal we're running on December 7th. It's a special thing and all that. And so as a part of that, I teach them how to warm up their audience. That's the first part of the instruction. I share the 7 ways that they can get their audience warmed up that I talked about earlier. And again, if you want to see a sample training, you can see a sample training and get all the slides for training your own affiliates. You go to mattmcwilliams.com/affiliate training. That's an easy one for me to remember. Again, we'll put that in the show notes. mattmcwilliams.com/affiliate training. You can actually download the slides. We've got them in Keynote, PowerPoint, and I think Google Sheets or something like that. You can download the slides. It's got all of the slides in there. You don't even have to, all you got to do is just slap your logo on, change the colors if you want. I've got that. I've got some of the worksheets and stuff that you can use. It's awesome resource, totally free. So go grab that. mattmcwilliams.com/affiliate training. Then I go into the training. So we've welcomed them. We've kind of chit-chatted for a little bit. We've done intros. I've talked about the vision and the promo calendar. We're at about the 15-minute mark, 16, 20-minute mark, somewhere in there. Then I get into the meat and potatoes, which is the first part of the training. I'd spend about 15 minutes training them on best practices, share some tips and strategies they can use to grow their sales, ton of information to help them be a better affiliate. I then share the 6 best practices of a great promo with them and walk through that, right? This whole section takes about 15 minutes. Then I stop for a few minutes to take Q&A. Then we go into part 2 of the training. The final 15 minutes or so, I just share some different strategies, affiliate marketing strategies for specific platforms. So I talk about how to do email, how to market on your blog post, how to market on, at that time, specific social media networks. So obviously, back in 2011, it was like, here's how to market on Facebook and Twitter. And now it's morphed into, here's how to market on Facebook and X, but also Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, do all that. And then I wrap up. Then we'll just go as long as we need to. Ask questions. My big call to actions, get them to join the Facebook group where I'll post even more tips and strategies. And then I take, final Q&A until we're out of questions. So again, it takes about an hour to 75 minutes. I do that monthly. If you want to see the sample slides for how we do the main training, this is the one you should do at the beginning of any promotion, mattmcwilliams.com/affiliate training, and grab those. So just the training of affiliates. Every affiliate went up 5, 10%, some of them 25, 30, 50% because of this. Again, we're adding more affiliates and we're getting dozens of applications a day. In the peak season, we would get over 100, by the way. Just imagine getting 100 affiliates to apply in a day. It was crazy. And that's when we hit October, it just got insane. So we did that. So we're adding more affiliates who were communicating with them better. And then we're training them so they're making more sales. You see how this is starting to compound, right? Well, the next thing we did that was a big help is we dialed in our analytics. So we started analyzing everything. Who's up? What affiliates are up? Who's making more sales this month than last month? Who's down? I want to know that. What's working? What's not? What specific links are working? What deals are working? What promos are working? What incentives work? Hey, we tried this and this didn't work, and this one did. So let's do more of the thing that worked. That's one of the secrets, by the way, of great marketing, great everything is find the things that work and do more of it. I had somebody tell me years ago, and this was so true. Hey, if you notice that if you're trying to lose weight and you notice that certain meals, you end up eating a lot and you gain a lot, don't eat that food. But if there's other food where it's like, gosh, you feel full after eating not very much and you tend to lose weight, eat more of that. Pretty simple, right? So an example with this program, when we took over, they offered a $5 bounty to anyone who posted about a deal. So there'd be a promotion and you could Google that coupon code and you'd have like 1,000 affiliates, or 1,000 results show up and they each get $5. So that's $5,000 for 1,000 posts. That's going to be worth like 60, 70,000 in sales on average. Like not bad. Don't get me wrong. You're going to pay 10,000 in commissions and about 5,000 in bounties for 60,000 in sales. That's great. But there's no rhyme or reason for it other than that's what they had always done. So I tried something new. Like the very first thing that we ever did, I said, everyone who posts is entered to win. It was an iPad mini, which was really hot right then. Like $600, right? I think $500-$600 back then. It was like the best kind. It was the cell-enabled, gold-plated one. So it might have been like $700 or $800. It was a pretty fancy. It was like the best iPad mini you could get that wasn't like one of the like $10,000 ones where they encrusted it in diamonds and while you carried around your little chihuahua, in your handbag. But anyway, it was a really nice iPad. I think it was like $700-$800. We had 2,500 people post. And this was before we'd even added that many affiliates. Like we were still at 5,200 affiliates, and we had 2,500 people post. Eventually we'd run contests for like $1,000 items. We get 10,000 posts in a matter of hours. And when we showed the CEO, like this was mind blowing. Like we could Google that coupon code and the name of this company and it was unbelievable. So when we first did it, again, 250 people post, we did 108,000 in sales. $108,000. We spent $700 or $800 instead of 5,000. We got 2.5 times as many posts and nearly twice as much revenue while spending 16% as much money. We spent so much less money and got so much more engagement. Why? Because we studied the analytics. Now, we tried that out, and once we decided that works, we knew that this works. Do more of this. So the next week, let's up the ante. Let's try $1,000 giveaway. So sometimes we do cash. Sometimes we do prizes. We didn't just keep doing iPad because we knew that would eventually not work. Sometimes we did multiple spots and we found, no, we want to spend all the money on this top spot. People wanted to be entered to win this one thing. We got up to like $2,000 and $3,000 prizes, but it was still less than if we'd been paying a measly $5. It's that psychological principle, right? They'd much rather have a 1 in 5,000 chance of winning $3,000 than a guaranteed $5 because like $5, it just isn't that exciting. Another example of how analytics, just really studying them, is we trended every single one of our top 200 affiliates every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Were they down? Were they up? What were their conversions looking like? What are they promoting? Every one of those top 200, we wanted to know if they started promoting a new thing, but the conversions weren't as good, maybe they needed to stop promoting that. What can we get them to promote that would be similar, but might convert better for their audience and therefore make everybody more money, make them happier, and everybody makes more money, right? We trended the 200th to 500th affiliate every week. We trended the next 500 or so every 2 weeks. And then we would reach out based on that. So if we noticed an affiliate was down Wednesday, so we're looking at Monday. So Monday, we're looking at Friday sales through Sunday sales. Okay, that can be different than Monday and Tuesday. But we're looking at if they're consistently going down 4 straight checks. Okay, we need to reach out now. Like they've only been down for 8 days, but we're reaching out now. So we're dialing in those analytics on every single one of our top 1,000 affiliates, at the least every 2 weeks, on the smaller of the top 1,000. Another example, on a macro level, we're looking at things like what links are converting best, and then we're driving more affiliates to promote them. Because maybe they're converting thing A, and thing A for this affiliate's converting at 3%, but overall this thing B is converting at 7%, And overall, their conversions are pretty similar to the overall conversions of the program. That means, hey, switch to promoting thing B and you'll be converting in 7% probably. Or based on conversions, we're having them switch their links from one page to another. We found that switching the links from the homepage of one particular product to the top sellers page, which wasn't even in the system, got a 12% lift in sales. Again, we knew that because we studied the analytics. And so we first told the affiliates this and we had them change it. But then we were like, hey, what would happen if we just changed it on our end? Because we can change the link where it goes on our end. So we changed it. We did it for one day and we noticed that sales went up 12%. So we kept it. So instead of them linking to the homepage for this product, it linked straight to the best sellers page. It was just a better converting page. They made 12% more money, and so did we. So really dial in your analytics, study the data, see what comes of it. I mean, gosh, you can look at 1,000 different things, but the big one is to look at underperforming affiliates. So who are affiliates that are the outliers or they're down? The same is true for affiliates that are up. Because if an affiliate is consistently going up, let's reach out like, hey, they were our number 800 affiliate last year. And then in Q1 of this year, they're up to like 500. And now they're up to 300. Hey, you know what? They're already moving up. What can I do to pour some gasoline on the fire? Or better yet, what can I do to put some dry wood on this fire and get them from 300 to 100? And everybody's making a lot more money. Look at like conversions that are dropping. Hey, for the landing page for product A, the conversion last year was 3.7%. This year, it's down to 2.4. What's going on? I don't know, but let's dig into it. It could be all kinds of things. Look for any reduction in sales on a macro, a micro, any type of level. Look for high converting links or high converting deals, high converting promos. Same if they're underperforming. Like, again, do more of what's working and less of what's not. And ultimately, it's about replicating one affiliate success to your others. You see one affiliate doing something well, and this thing is working, and you go, whoa, we need to change it. And we did that so many times. Why? Because we studied the analytics where we saw that an affiliate was deep linking to a page that maybe we didn't provide to affiliates. And it's like, daggum, that affiliate's conversion rate is 6.5% promoting this thing. And the overall is 2.4. What if we switch that link? Like, let's just try it. Oh my gosh, it went from 2.4 to 4.5 on an overall basis. Yeah, that other affiliate was at 6.5 because they're just better, but we just almost doubled the conversion rate. Things like that happen all the time because we study the analytics. Now, the final thing that we did was we expanded the range of products that affiliates were promoting. When we took over, affiliates were basically promoting just the best sellers, the most obvious things to promote, the things that this company was known for, where they had a market edge, things like that. We had probably close to 1,000 products. In fact, I know by the time we were no longer working with them, it was a little bit over 1,000. So we created links for all of them. We ran promos around all of them over the course of a year or two. This created a lot of variety. So affiliates weren't promoting the same things over and over again. When I took over, they basically only had, they had a link to the homepage. They had links to like the major categories page. They had a link to the deals page, maybe 14 total links. And the only promos they ran through affiliates were site-wide deals, which basically happened once a month or so. Same thing over and over and over again. It was so boring. We would cycle through 5 to 10 promotions every week. So we'd find like 1 or 2 products for each audience, each affiliate type. We'd base them on the type of year. So at Christmas, we had more holiday-themed stuff, of course, but there were promos for Mother's Day, Father's Day, graduation time, Valentine's, July 4th, Halloween, Sweetest Day. I learned a bunch of weird holidays, right? Grandparents and all that stuff. Even wedding season, again, we know my wife and I were married on November 22nd, but most weddings happen in the late spring through the summer. So there is a 4.5 month period where almost 2/3, a disproportionate amount of weddings take place. So we had all sorts of things where we ran promos for it. And even without that, we ran promos on specific products and categories. We had links to each product, links to each category, links to each theme. We had links to, here's the holiday guide. They weren't even linking to their holiday guide before we took over. We started linking to the holiday guide. We started linking to the graduation guide. We started linking to the wedding guide and to all these things. And this variety allowed us to have affiliates promote a ton of different things and then see what worked for them. Sometimes what worked best for one affiliate was very different from what was working for most of them. So it became not just about our best sellers overall, but about our best sellers for individual affiliates. So we would have graphics for those different things. We had holiday graphics. We had specific landing pages, and all that stuff made it super easy for them to navigate all of that. So over the course of a year, a specific affiliate might only promote 10 times for the products and categories that work best for them. But that was 50,000 plus active affiliates promoting 10 times compared to 5,000 promoting 3 or 4 times. Made a huge, huge difference. Again, starts compiling. We added affiliates. We also got them promoting 2.5 times more per year. Now, the final thing here that occurred to me as I was talking through this today, I wasn't planning on this, but I usually like to include a bonus, so it works out great. I guess as I was recording it, I didn't really know where to put this, is we got affiliates to promote us truly evergreen. And what this did was it created a baseline for us so that even in a really slow week, and we had those, we're still doing over $1 million. When we took over, a slow month would do under $500,000. And now we got it to where a slow week was like 1.2, 1.4 million bucks. Things like adding our stuff to the resources page and showing affiliates how to do that. And if you want to see a sample of that, if you go to mattmcwilliams.com/something or another, I don't know, but I will put a link in the show notes so that you can get that guide and give it to your affiliates. And again, we give you permission to share it with them. But we showed them like how to categorize things so that if they categorize it, it might mean that we were recommended 2 or 3 times, multiple times on this page, instead of just like, here's a list of things we use. So photographers would have multiple sections. Same for nonprofits. They'd have multiple sections. So we'd be on there 2, 3, 4, 5 times instead of just once, or none at all if they weren't doing that. We got them to add us to their automation sequences. So now we had a steady flow of daily clicks from thousands of affiliates. It might only be 1 a day or 5 a day from each affiliate. Sometimes it was 1 click a week from their automation, but that's 52 clicks a year. And we had 4, 5, 6,000 affiliates doing this. Average probably was 3 a day. I mean, that's 15,000 clicks a day. It starts adding up really fast. We created a deals page widget. So they could basically create a deals page on their site that had our rotating deals on it. So they didn't have to update it. They didn't have to update when we ran a 2-day sale or a 1-day sale or a 4-hour sale as we sometimes did. It was just a one-time install, ongoing commissions. We created auto updating banner ads. Same thing, it's just like the deals widget, like banner ads still work, yes. We created a bunch that auto updated. So it's like, hey, you would install this banner if you were, say, in a certain niche, and it would auto update with the latest deals, the latest holiday themes, the latest best sellers. Some were just a generic banner that we update weekly with the latest whatever was relevant, right? And this saved the affiliate a ton of work. They loved us for it, but it got them to add this one thing. And these auto updating banners, now again, I know this is back in 2009 to 12 years ago is the range, basically. I get it this a while ago, but they still work today. Not as well, they still work today. These auto updating banners as a category were responsible for over $5 million in annual sales. But more than that, the fact that affiliates loved them meant that they probably did other things as well. And so there's a certain aspect that like, I can't quantify. What was the Facebook group worth? I don't know. I can't quantify that, but affiliates loved it. I think it was worth 10% increase. You know, I mean, I'm making that number up because I can't quantify it. Same with the auto updating banner ads. We can show that they were directly worth $5 million a year. You go, well, $5 million is not a very high percentage of 325, but I also think that it got them to do other stuff because they loved it so much. So there you have it. 6 ways, plus a few more actually. We'll separate those, but again, under that evergreen, getting people to really promote evergreen. And I took an affiliate program from an annual revenue of $15 million to $325 million in just 4 years. I'd love to hear from you what your biggest takeaway is. You can text me anytime about this or anything else, any questions you have, 260-217-4619. Text me anytime. We've got links in the show notes to the affiliate training, templates and scripts. We've got links to the promo strategy call template and that resources page guide that I just talked about. I don't remember the link for that, but I said it'll be in the show notes. Got a link for that. Last thing, make sure if you haven't yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We're going to talk about affiliate onboarding. You know, you've got these affiliates, they're interested in promoting you. Now, what do you do? How do you onboard your affiliates so they can actually get started the right way? And that's what the episode is all about. I'm going to share the steps that it takes to get your affiliates to hit the ground running, so to speak, and really hit their full potential. So we'll talk about that winning onboard process in the next episode. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening today. Remember to check out all of our deep dives into affiliate marketing at theaffiliateguy.tv. And if you have a question, ask it at asktheaffiliateguy.com. Who knows? Maybe you even be featured on an upcoming episode. And lastly, if you haven't yet, make sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this episode. See you soon.